All right, it's the end of June and getting ready for the 2024 National Sports Collectors Convention in Cleveland, Ohio, coming up next month, less than a month away. Pretty pumped for it. So I got 5 things for you today. I got 2 myths that I'd like to address that I think are just completely untrue. And then I got 3 observations that I've made over the years. I want to say this is my 7th or 8th national. I'm not entirely sure. 7 or 8 anyway. I've been to Cleveland before. I believe the last time it was in Cleveland was 2018. So we're going to start there. I want to address the Cleveland venue sucks myth. You'll hear it all the time. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, Cleveland sucks. You know, I don't want to go if it's in Cleveland. Here's the thing. I could not disagree more with that statement. It depends, though, on why you're going to the show. Are you going to the show because of the entertainment value of the city that it's in? Or are you going to the show to spend the time at the show, to spend time with friends and family, to go to trade nights? Is it about the cards and memorabilia and meeting athletes? Is it about that kind of stuff? Or is it just about entertainment value outside of the show? That's the question. I have found Cleveland to be outstanding. The last time it was there, the space between aisles was amazing. Now that might be different this time. I think they did a redesign of the floor plan. I saw it on a piece of paper, like an electronic sheet of paper. I got to actually see it in person. I just can't like totally visualize what it's going to look like. It was phenomenal last time it was there. One of the criticisms that people have is, well, Cleveland sucks because I can't walk to the IX Center. That's true. There aren't any hotels right across the street from it. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere to a degree. It's out by the airport. You got to drive, or better yet, take a shuttle from your hotel. We don't drive. We got a hotel that has a free breakfast, and it's a hot breakfast too. Pool, jacuzzi, those types of things, that has a shuttle. Night before, you talk to the people at the front desk. You ask for a shuttle at a certain time. Now, there might be a lot of people at your hotel. You might not get in the first batch of people that get on that shuttle. But within the first shuttle or 2, you'll be at the show. They take you there. I usually tip the driver. It's great. I haven't found any issues with it. We don't typically look to do a lot of like nightlife stuff after the show because there's usually trade nights, or quite frankly, we're usually kind of exhausted, want to spend some time in the pool and jacuzzi, stuff like that. And just kind of get caught up because it's myself, my brother, and a friend of ours that we grew up with. That's in my crew. We also meet other collectors. You know, it's just a good experience. So the Cleveland sucks myth, nope, totally disagree. I'll give you a comparison. So I don't go to the National when it's in Atlantic City. It's just like a personal preference thing, but I don't like knock Atlantic City. If people like going there, great. It's just not for me. I don't make videos about how bad Atlantic City is. Second myth, the prices are all too high. You're going to go to the National and all the dealers are overpriced. It's just ridiculous. Should have just stayed home and went on eBay. Could not disagree more with that myth also. Are you going to find tables whose sticker prices are above eBay? Yep, most of them will be. But I know it's become a cliche when people say, oh, it's all about relationships. Yeah, I've heard that a million times. It's not necessarily a relationship piece. It's more of a communication piece. Most dealers that I've run into, there's a love for the cards and memorabilia and things like that. Having a conversation about cards, having a conversation about players. I've had dealers where I've had a card in my hand, they reduce the price and I don't even ask. So to say that all of the prices are too high, you're not going to find anything, completely untrue. I have never had an issue with buying cards at the National. Have I ever run into a dealer whose prices are too high and they're willing to negotiate, they don't want to talk much, stuff like that? Sure. But the deal is at the National, and what makes it different is there's hundreds of dealers. So if you find that one of them you don't agree with, blah, 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 won't negotiate, there's plenty more to choose from. And there's only a certain amount of money. Everybody's got a budget. Some people have a budget way higher than mine, but everybody's got a dollar amount. With that said, that segues into my next piece, which is I've learned over the years to set a budget. Last year, I went about $700 or $800 over budget. So I'm a Dave Ramsey guy. So when I go on these types of trips, I have a budget. But I also have a budget in some other areas, and that includes like a miscellaneous. I had to dip into that miscellaneous budget last year because I went over. But I would set a budget. I would keep track of what you're spending. I have never gone to a national and come home with credit card debt, ever. If I did, I put the hotel on there, and I paid it immediately when I got home. I have never had credit card debt where I've paid a dime of interest when I've left the national. Actually, as a general rule, I haven't, period. But just haven't. I don't want that stress that comes along with that. I've also learned over the years that if I see a card at a dealer's table that is relatively rare and it's priced fair, I buy it. I have had a couple instances over the years where I saw a relatively rare card at a booth and I'm like, the price seems pretty good. I don't know. I need to think about it. And I come back later and it's gone. If it's rare and fair, I buy it. I've learned my lesson on that one after missing out on a couple of different cards. Here's the thing. So when you order raw cards on eBay, it's become a bit of a crapshoot. Recently, I ordered a $300 raw Victor Wembanyama card. I asked all the questions that you should ask. I asked questions before purchase. I asked for additional pictures. They sent me pictures. I get the card. It has a serious surface issue. Not in the pictures. I don't like returning stuff on eBay. I know it's annoying, but I returned that card. It's like you had to have angled that picture in a way so that I couldn't see the surface issue. It wasn't damaged in shipping. There was a big dimple on this card, was the issue. Big one. So I returned it. So this next point is that when you go to the National, a big advantage is being able to inspect raw cards. I kind of have a personal rule that if I want to take cards out of the penny sleeve to look at them, I always ask the dealer. I don't just start grabbing cards and pulling them out, the sleeves out and pulling the cards out. But I've also never had a dealer where I've asked and said, hey, can I take this card out of the sleeve, take a look at it? I've never had a dealer say no. They always say something like, yeah, just be careful with it, or break it, you buy it, and we laugh, whatever the case may be. I've never had somebody tell me no. Like, not once. So being able to inspect raw cards, I think, is a major advantage of this show, for sure. So I'm looking for some specific things this year. I'm looking for some low-end Victor Wembanyama rookies and inserts. I'm thinking even like Prism, Emergent, and cards like that even. I'm looking for buying bulk Victor Wembanyama low-end rookies and inserts, with the idea that if I find any that are in great condition, I might get some of them graded. That's something that's on my list. I want to get into a higher-end Wemby card, preferably numbered. I'm even looking at some numbered Prism cards. I want to get in on those because I think he's a generational talent. Just my opinion, not telling you what to buy, just something I'm looking for. I also want to get into a higher end Mahomes rookie, preferably numbered. That's another thing that I'm looking for. I've found that I'll go to the National with a list, and I rarely get a lot of stuff on my list because I find other things. One other specific card I'm looking for, and this is one of the reasons why people get upset at the National sometimes, I'm looking for an 07, 08 Topps rip card of Bill Walton, Yao Ming, and David Robinson. It's numbered to 99. I have a ripped copy. I'm looking for an unripped copy. I would pay up for this card. I've had a thread on Blowout for almost 7 or 8 years looking for this card. Can't find it. I look on eBay all the time. Can't find it. If I based my National experience on finding this card, every National I went to would have sucked because I haven't found the card. So have reasonable expectations as far as what you're going to find. People will usually say if the card exists, or if you don't find it at the National, the card doesn't exist. Well, that's not necessarily true. Again, that's an example. I've had a hard time finding that particular card. If I find it, I'll definitely buy it. So with that said, hope to see many of you at the National. Curious as to what your thoughts are. Like, what are you looking for at the National? Do you agree with these myths? Do you think that the Cleveland sucks myth is bogus? Do you think that the everything's overpriced myth is bogus? Or do you think those things are true? Leave me some comments and let me know what you think. The Nationals get really close. Super pumped to go again this year. And with that said, remember that the opportunities for collecting sports cards are endless.